Your child isn't lacking intelligence. It's just that every day, adults are unknowingly taking away opportunities for their brain to develop without even realizing it. Your child's brain is developing right now, and most parents are never told that. Your child's brain doesn't wait until school to start growing. It's being built in very ordinary moments every day. When your child talks, spills water, asks a silly question, or even when they're bored. The problem is most parents are taught this. If you want your child to be smart, you have to teach more, buy more, and start earlier. Flashcards, learning apps, a schedule packed from morning to night. But neuroscience says the opposite. The brain does not grow from being stuffed with information. It grows from moments when a child tries on their own, thinks on their own experiments, and makes mistakes. Every time you rush to speak for your child, do things for them to be quicker, or answer immediately to save time, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just following your loving instincts. But without realizing it, you're also taking away one of the most important brain training opportunities your child has. A child's brain needs to be exercised just like muscles. And that exercise isn't extra classes, it's the tiny moments when you pause instead of stepping in. In this video, I'll share 6 extremely small habits, no money, no extra time, that can change how your child's brain develops every single day. If you want to see all 6 habits, comment 1 below so I know you're watching with me. 1. Let children finish their own sentences, a small habit that powerfully feeds the brain. Think back for a moment, how many times has your child been talking, paused for a second, and you immediately finish the sentence for them, not because you're impatient, but because you already know what they're about to say and you want things to move faster. But that exact moment is when your child's brain is working at its hardest. When a child searches for words to express a thought, the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for thinking, memory, and problem-solving, lights up. Their brain is digging through memories, organizing ideas, and turning thoughts into language. That's real brain exercise. When you speak for them, that process gets interrupted. Neural connections that haven't fully formed yet are cut short. But when you wait even just 5 seconds, even if your child speaks slowly, rambles, or uses the wrong word, their brain has to complete the connection on its own. And that small amount of struggle is exactly what makes the brain stronger. Next time your child pauses mid-sentence, don't rush in to help. Don't correct. Don't guess for them. Just take a breath silently, count to 5, and look at your child with patience. You're sending their brain a powerful message. You have time. You are being listened to. You can do this. That feeling of being trusted repeated day after day builds language, confidence, focus, and independent thinking too. Describing what a child is doing, not giving commands. A way of talking that helps a child's brain open up. Most of us talk to our children in commands all day long. Put your shoes on. Stop messing around. Hurry up. It sounds completely normal. But a child's brain often receives these sentences as pressure. There is a much simpler alternative called action narration. This means you only describe what your child is doing instead of telling them what to do. Instead of saying, "Put your shoes on," try saying, "You're holding your shoe," "You're putting your foot in," "You're pulling the strap up." It may sound strange, but this technique is widely used by child psychologists in the United States. When you narrate, your child's brain activates mirror neurons, which help children understand and recognize their own actions. More importantly, the child does not feel controlled or criticized. Without pressure, the emotional brain, the amygdala, calms down, giving the thinking brain space to function. Gradually, the child begins to talk quietly to themselves. "Now I'm holding my shoe. Next, I put my foot in." That is the foundation of self-regulation and focus. You don't need to say more. You just need to slow down and stay neutral. No commands, no corrections. Just observe and reflect. And the surprising thing is when a child feels truly seen, their brain becomes more cooperative, calmer, and more proactive. 3. Let kids do it themselves, even if they spill, how to nurture the feeling of "I can do it." Imagine this scene: your child wants to pour their own water, and instantly a thought pops into your head: the water will spill, the floor will get wet, and you'll have to clean it up. So you say, "Let me do it, it'll be faster." Totally reasonable. But in your child's brain, a big opportunity has just been missed. When a child pours water on their own, the brain isn't doing just one thing. Many areas are working together at the same time. The motor cortex controls the hand and grip strength. The visual system estimates distance. The cerebellum coordinates movement. And the prefrontal cortex plans each step. This is a full brain workout. When you step in because you're afraid of a spill, your child's brain doesn't get the chance to connect those regions. But when you let them try, even if the water spills onto the table, their brain is learning: I try, I make mistakes, I adjust. And the most important thing isn't the skill of pouring water, it's the sense of competence. The feeling that I can try. I don't have to be perfect, but I can learn. What I do matters. Children who grow up with this feeling are less afraid of mistakes, less dependent, and more willing to take initiative. On the other hand, children who are often done for quietly learn a different message. I'm not good enough. Yet adults are the ones who can do things. Next time, put a towel underneath, take a deep breath, and let your child pour the water themselves. Cleaning up might take an extra 30 seconds, but you're building a confident brain for a lifetime. If you've ever hesitated to let your child do things on their own because of the mess, comment and let's look at habit number 5 together. 4. Pause before answering. How to keep your child's curiosity alive. Children ask a lot of questions. Why is the sky blue? Why can we still see the moon in the morning? Why can't cats talk? And adults' instinct is to answer right away. Because you know the answer. Because you want your child to understand. Because you think you're teaching. But here's the interesting part: the brain learns best not when it receives an answer, but when it is searching for one. When you answer immediately, your child's brain simply records the information. Done. End of story. But when you pause, look at your child and ask back, what do you think? Your child's brain instantly activates the hippocampus, the area linked to memory, imagination, and meaning-making. Your child has to think, to guess, to connect what they already know in order to create an answer. 5. Let children be bored. A gift the brain truly needs but adults often take away. I'm bored. Just that one sentence is enough to make many parents uncomfortable. The instinctive reaction is to immediately fill the gap: hand over a phone, turn on the TV, suggest a game schedule, another activity. But the truth is, this boredom isn't a problem. Boredom is a signal that the brain needs space. When a child has nothing to do, the brain shifts into a state called the default mode network. This is when the mind starts to wander, connects seemingly unrelated ideas, processes, emotions, and asks questions about the self. In other words, this is the cradle of creativity and independent thinking. The games children invent on their own, the imaginary stories, the weird ideas they come up with, most of them are born out of boredom. When adults constantly entertain children, the brain no longer needs to create anything on its own. Over time, children become dependent on external stimulation, struggle to focus, get irritated easily, and don't know what to do without screens or guidance. Letting children be bored doesn't mean neglecting them. It means being present without interfering. It means giving them a safe space to face their own thoughts. Next time your child says, "I'm bored," you can smile and say, "That's okay. Being bored is fine." Then go back to what you were doing. At first, your child may feel restless, uncomfortable, or complain even more. But if you're patient, their brain will naturally shift into creative mode. And it's in those quiet moments that children begin to understand what they like, how they think, and what they can do on their own. 6. Parents regulate their own emotions. First, the deepest foundation of a child's brain. There's a truth people rarely say out loud. You can't teach your child to be calm if you yourself are stressed. Because before your child hears your words, their brain has already read your emotional state. A child's brain is designed to constantly scan a parent's facial expressions, tone of voice, and breathing rhythm. In just a few milliseconds, their nervous system knows, am I safe or am I in danger? If you're rushed, irritated, or tense the child's emotional brain, the amygdala sounds the alarm. The body tightens, cortisol rises, and the thinking brain almost completely shuts down. At that moment, no matter how right your words are, your child cannot hear them. But when you do one very small thing, pause first, everything changes. Just one deep breath, a slightly softer voice, a gentler facial expression. Your child's nervous system will automatically follow yours. This is called co-regulation. Children borrow your calm to stabilize their own bodies. And when this happens again and again, their brain learns how to self-regulate emotions without anyone needing to teach it with words. What matters is this: you don't have to be calm perfectly all the time. Children don't need perfect parents. They need an adult who knows how to return to calm again and again. Each time you choose to slow your breath instead of reacting immediately, you're teaching your child's brain that strong emotions can pass. Stress can be handled. I'm not abandoned when I feel overwhelmed. When you consistently practice these small habits, you'll start to see a very clear shift. Your child becomes calmer, more focused, more curious, and more confident. Not because you're teaching them more, but because you've created a safe space for their brain to grow. Over time, this becomes the foundation for resilience, creativity, emotional intelligence, and self-control. Raising a smart child isn't about doing more, it's about doing less and trusting more. The brain doesn't need to be pushed, it needs permission to grow. If you want to start today, comment 1 and don't forget to follow the channel so we can walk alongside your child in a gentler, more mindful way.